One, go. Welcome, Stogie Geeks listeners, to a very special interview that we've got for you today. I have the wonderful opportunity to sit down with Grace Sotolongo. Did I said that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. Grace currently works for CLE Cigars, where, among other things, has created her own cigar line called Hechicera. Did I say that right, too?
Silent H. Hechicera.
Hechicera. I
Yeah.
knew that. I read that, too, and I still
It's
pronounced
okay.
it. It's because the H is there, and I just
Yeah.
read it. The meaning of Hechicera is a female sorceress who has the ability to captivate and enchant those around her with her beauty and charm, which Grace has already done since she got here. So, Grace previously worked for My Father Cigars and holds the board member of the International Women's Cigar Society and the first female rights ambassador of Florida. Grace, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm really honored to be here with you guys.
Yes.
It's a pretty awesome setup you guys have here.
Thank you. Now, did you have a late night last night, or?
Yeah, no.
When
no,
you walked in, I really thought that's what happened. I'm like,
No.
did Lauren keep you out till like
no,
5 in the
I
morning?
decided that from now on I'm going to be a diva, and I'm just going to walk around with sunglasses everywhere I go.
Well, like I said before, Will's a diva, so we're used to dealing with that.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, I have an issue with my eye, and I can't get smoke in my eye. I can't get sunlight in my eye. I can't wear makeup, so I won't be removing my glasses.
I'm our makeup person called out sick today, so I'm not wearing
Well,
any
it
makeup
worked
either.
out perfect.
Will's on the line via Skype. Welcome, Will.
Hey,
Hi, Will.
yeah, good morning, everybody.
Just a little bit of background. Sotolongo Cigars is a new company under Fabricas Unidas. How did I do with that?
Fábricas Unidas.
You say it way better than I do.
We're known for our pronunciation here on the
Yes,
Cigars.
yes.
It's okay. Well, to make it easier, now, just because it's going to be easier and to uniform the entire company, it's CLE Cigar Company.
Okay.
So it's
That's
not gonna
way
be-
easier to pronounce.
It's
Oh,
CLE Cigar Company. Either way, we're all under that big umbrella, so
Yep.
it's just better.
So now, under the CLE umbrella is, of course, your cigar,
Yes.
the Hechicera, and Asylum, Edgar Hoyo, and Pura Soul cigars.
Yes, we have.
Did I miss any?
Well, we have Christian with his line, CLE, Eidoa, and he took under his own wing Winwood Cigars and the Factory Fresh Cigars.
Yep.
He's partnered up with Tom Lazuka with the Asylum Cigars, Straight Jacket, with Edgar Hoyle with EH and One Shot, One Kill, and Robert Wright with Pura Soul Cigars.
Gotcha. So what made you fall in love with cigars and want to be part of this industry?
Well, I started in the industry about 4.5 years ago, just visiting shops with my friend Berta Bravo. She does the Guayaberas, and she's known as the Guayabera lady.
Yes.
Yes. So she dresses a lot of manufacturers, and she works with a lot of shops and the shop owners. And I started going with her to shops, just promoting her Guayaberas and doing events. And I tried my first cigar right before my 21st birthday, and I just love the community. And I love the people and the fact that you can walk into a shop, and as soon as you walk in the door, everybody's the same. Whether it's, somebody who might work, at McDonald's, and there's maybe a politician or a millionaire or whatever. Once you sit next to each other and you're smoking a cigar, we're all the same.
Yeah.
And
it's
I love
pretty,
that.
It's pretty amazing to sit with a bunch of different people like that from all
Yeah,
different
I
walks of
mean-
life. And the one thing you have in common is you can always talk cigars, right?
You can talk many things in common because you can talk family, you can talk, whatever, that you had a stressful day at work, excuse me, all these things, but everybody becomes equal, and you can, bust each other's chops and all these, but it's a beautiful community when you're in a cigar shop, and you can have your accountant and your lawyer and,
Yeah. And the nice part is you're sitting there for some time having the cigar, so you're almost forced to have that community and conversation, which in today's day and age doesn't always happen,
Right. So that made me fall in love with the industry. And then, I was blessed that a year after I was around the industry and I became friends with a lot of different manufacturers and a lot of different people, Johnny was looking for somebody to work in the office as a receptionist. So that's how I started, working in the industry. I was a bank teller before that. And, I learned a lot from her family, and then and I absolutely love them and respect them. I'm very proud of everything that they've accomplished. I think it's amazing that in 10 years they've done so much. Not including the history that they have in tobacco, but, I learned so much. And then I got the opportunity to go to Nicaragua, and I just fell in love with it. That was it. Just seeing the farms and seeing all the work that goes into it, seeing the rollers, seeing everything. It just, I had a passion for it, and I knew cigars. But when I was there, that just it came full circle for me. I loved it.
Yeah, you have a lot of my respect for starting at the receptionist position and then progressing to where you are today. That's awesome.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Excellent.
So what made you prompted the move from My Father to join CLE?
Well, it was a very tough decision for me, and it took me a few months to make it. But I didn't leave to go with CLE. I just knew that I wanted to be out on the road, and I wanted to focus more on marketing and advertising and branding and doing cigar events and promotions and traveling across the country. And unfortunately, My Father Cigars didn't have that position for me. And, you know, they were going to develop the position, but it was going to take a little bit longer. And for a female in this industry, you either travel now when you're young, or you have to wait till later on in life, because at one point or another, you know, you want to get married and have kids, and you have to be in an office and, you know, settle.
Right.
And I mean, at the time I was 24, I'm 25 now. I was a year ago when I decided that I really wanted, and I'm young, but I knew that I wanted to do this for a few years. So if I didn't make the decision and to just leave and do the jump, then I might be stuck in an office and never get the opportunity to do it.
Right.
And it took me a very long time to decide. I love that family, and I'm so grateful for everything that I learned there. And I left without a job. I didn't seek work because, like I said, I respect them, and I didn't want people to say or you know, them to think that I was being disrespectful while I was there. So I left, and I got a few phone calls from some companies. I set up interviews. I did about 5 interviews, and a couple of days after I had physically left My Father, not just resigned, just physically left, Tom Lazuka emails me on Facebook and says, "Hey, I'm really sorry you're leaving the industry." And I go, "I'm not leaving the industry. I just don't have work yet, but I'm not leaving the industry." And he says, "Well, what are you looking to do?" So I gave him my whole spiel of what I wanted to do. He's like, "Well, let me see if Christian has anything available." And I said, "Great." And to be honest, Christian hadn't even come to my mind because the company was so new that I didn't think, you know, he'd have that position for me. So when he told me, "Here, call Christian," and I called Christian, he told me, "Come tomorrow." I set up the interview, showed up, gave him my spiel, and he's like, "Well, that sounds great, and, you know, but I also want to do a brand with a female." And I'm like, "Well, hey."
Here I am.
I was like, "Well, that sounds like a nice gig." I said, "Let me finish my interviews, and I'll get back to you next week." And everybody that I went to offered me what I wanted, but he just offered me something completely different that I think anybody would take the shot at. And I decided to take a chance, and I did.
Yeah, it's a kind of a scary thing. In my own career, I've done a similar thing where I just kind of left what I was doing and said, "I'm going to figure it out." And you know, props to you for you know, putting off the having kids, because I did that when my son was an infant, and my wife freaked out a little bit, but you know, it all worked out. But it's a scary thing to kind of you know, go seek things out. But obviously, you landed on your feet. As we're, you know, I'm sitting here smoking your cigar.
Thank you.
The Hechicera, and it's extremely good. I love this cigar with coffee in the morning.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
That was part of the intention behind it. So.
Now, I have to ask the obvious question, right? Being a female in the industry, are there certain challenges that you have to overcome because you're female?
Well, I mean, at times it just depends on how you carry yourself. You know, if you carry yourself in a provocative way, then you're going to get that reaction from people.
Yeah.
If you carry yourself like, you know, I like to walk into a shop and just be one of the guys and hang out, and you know, we talk sports and we talk work, and you know, it just depends on how you carry yourself. If you're going to be timid and shy, then you're going to get that off reaction. But if you just talk to people and you open up and, you know, you discuss cigars, you start there because that's what you're walking in for, and then you move on to other stuff, then I don't think there's an issue as long as you know how to carry yourself.
Do you kind of take it upon yourself to get women more involved in the industry? You know, being a very male-dominated industry, and unfortunately, the other industry I'm in is primarily male-dominated as well, which is computer security. But and I like to encourage women to be part of the field as well. Did you kind of take that upon yourself?
Oh, yeah. I love to, you know, sit down. When I see a husband bring their wife and the wife doesn't smoke, I'm like, today's a great day to start.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You have a girl here.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of the resistance from women in smoking is that they're intimidated and afraid that maybe you guys don't know really how to steer them in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's that we don't trust you because you guys have a different, you know, palate. You guys probably smoke a lot stronger although women nowadays are smoking very strong stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
when you're starting, we're just afraid that what you guys might hand us or might not explain properly. So when there's a girl telling you, hey, today's a great day to start, you know, this is something new that you and your husband can do, doesn't necessarily mean you need to come to the shop with him every day. He probably doesn't want you to come to the shop every day.
Well, also, you know, it's not the husband telling the wife, hey, you should try a cigar, because she's probably sick of hearing it from, I know my wife is like
Yep.
sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
Right? But you're right. If she heard it from you, I think she'd be more likely to try cigars more. And she does smoke occasionally, but I wish she'd smoke more, actually.
But be careful.
Be careful, because
She's
then
gonna-
she want to come to the lounge with me every day,
And
right?
not only that, she's gonna take your cigars. Then you're gonna have to be spending double the money on cigars.
It's a good thing we didn't buy that new house, right?
Yeah, that's a great thing. But I like to encourage them, and I show them. You know, I don't like to start them on flavored cigars. I have nothing against them. I just personally don't
Yeah.
enjoy them. So I like to take them into something that's straight tobacco, nothing
Right.
infused or anything. But I like to start them mild. You know, my cigar is not something that's very strong where they can't start there.
Yeah, I would definitely give this cigar to my wife, for sure.
Yeah. Or I'll start them with a Connecticut, like we have the Sealy Connecticut, something like that.
Yeah. I might hide my box after I give it to the wife. But
Yeah. So, you know, it's I think it's just I encourage them, and I think they feel more comfortable when they have a woman telling them, you know, how it should be done,
Right.
than just a guy telling them, hey, you know, smoke this, and not properly explain. So, because I know what experiences I went through with my first cigar,
Right, right.
and they were horrible. And
Just too strong, or did you start with flavored cigar? I mean, because the tendency, I think,
it was a
is
very strong
to
cigar.
give females the flavored cigar, and I don't
Right.
think that's necessarily maybe the right place to start.
I don't think it's the right place to start, and I don't think it's a place where, I mean, if that's something that the husband enjoys or the boyfriend or
Yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
he hands her that, I mean, that's great. That's something that they can smoke together.
You know, that's good advice. Share what you like with
Of
your
course.
significant other. Yeah.
Also, I mean, if it's something stronger, get them gradually there. Don't just hand it to them like what happened to me. I walked into a
Right,
shop, there
right.
was an event. They handed me this cigar that was super strong, and 3 hours later, I was puking green. Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It
So-
happens male or female. That would happen.
Yes,
the first
yes.
time. Yep.
But, you know, I knew nothing, and they didn't properly explain. They handed me the cigar that was not for me because I was starting, and I had never smoked anything
Right,
before in my life.
right.
So, you know, that's why I say I think I love to encourage women to smoke, and I think they feel more comfortable when they have a girl telling them, hey, this is how you do it. I promise you this is not going to be very strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, smoke it with your wine, smoke it with your coffee. So you see, you know, there's the flavors complement each other. And, you know, at the same time, when it's your first cigar, you have that tobacco taste in your mouth, and maybe you're not used to it. If you're, you know, smoking it with a drink or something, then that washes it out a little bit, and you get to appreciate it. And later on, you can just smoke it without anything, and you're like, okay, I get this.
Yeah, you know, you bring up an interesting point, Grace, and it's something that we asked our previous guest on the show, Eric Espinoza, because we just happened to be talking about
Love
this.
Shorty.
Yeah, we just happened to be talking about the room aroma when you first light a cigar, and how it can be somewhat pungent and overwhelming and really not all that pleasant.
Right.
In the first few puffs of a cigar, kind of having the same feel in your mouth. So, you know, we asked Eric, why is that? Is that something in the tobacco? And he said, no, it's when you've never had scotch before and you first take a sip, it can be kind of overpowering. And you said that as well. You know, you kind of have to pair it with something and give it some time to let your senses adjust to it. So.
Right. So I think that's also something that women might be initially turned off by, because they're like, well, I'm getting this taste in my mouth that's not pleasant at all.
Right.
But if you're having a wine or coffee or beer or whatever it is that you enjoy drinking, and you have it, you know, you have your sips with your puffs, then
right.
you complement it,
can,
and
yeah,
it,
offset the. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Let's talk a little about the packaging. I have a box of the Corona size here.
yes.
And I have to say, the feedback when these cigars
And you
first.
show the inside too. It's
yes,
pretty cool.
please do.
Yeah.
When they first came into the shop, the feedback that I had gotten from all of my friends, and you know, we have lots of friends in the Havana Cigar Club and Mr. J's Havana Smoke
It's a
Shop.
gentleman's club.
Yes, yes, right. And you know, they all said that the packaging was way too girly for them. And that was the first thing I had heard about your
Right.
brand, unfortunately, was the packaging is just really girly.
Right.
And I'm like, well, how's the cigar? Never mind the packaging.
Yeah.
You know, how does the cigar smoke? And you know, recently everyone's been singing praises of the cigar. So, but how do you address the feedback of the packaging being girly?
Well,
Well, I mean, the perception that it's girly.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, I've gotten the perception, is it flavored? Because there's so many colors. Usually when you see color, it's a flavored cigar. First of all, for me, real men wear pink. And us girls are attracted to guys who wear pink. I
should have worn my pink shirt.
Exactly.
Darn it, I was going to wear it today.
And you just forgot. No, but in all honesty, I wanted to do a box that was small and that stood out in a humidor. And how do you make a small box like this stand out? And you have to add color, because otherwise it washes out with everything else.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's a good point.
Yeah. And so I also wanted something that when you looked at it would make you happy. I think that every day we hear on the news all these, tragedies and stuff, and you're frustrated at work. And if anything, at least you look at the box and you smile, because you're like, well, that's completely different. I wanted to do something different that was nothing like what was on the shelf, I don't want to fall into, imitating anybody or doing I want to stand out. And at the end of the day, the person behind this cigar is a girl.
Right.
And it's not that I'm trying to, push girly stuff on you guys, but you also have to see, there's Gurkha and their image, but that's who they are. Christian is family and stuff, and he has his image and what he wants to portray. Edgar Hoyle looks like a Mexican gangster, although he's a teddy bear. When you see him, you want to run away from him. But that's his look, and the tattoos and the photography and all that, the Mexican tribal artwork or whatever it is his image. And this is mine, and I wanted to bring it to everybody. And I strategically didn't put like pastel colors and things like that, because I didn't want to completely turn off guys. But I put color because I wanted to make it stand out. I wanted it to be my own. I used my friend. Her name is Ninoska Perez Castellon. She's a Cuban artist. She has her own.
I'm glad you said her name.
Ninoska Perez Castellon. All her artwork is very Cuban, and that's also something that's very important to me, because I'm very proud of my heritage. And her paintings are, like I said, very Cuban, very colorful, very bright, and to me, it just makes me happy. And that's what I wanted to bring forth. And it went great with the name. Hechicera, like you said, means sorceress. According to the Real Spanish Academy, it means she who with her charm and beauty captures the attention of the people. That's not just the sorceress part. Sorceress is like, another meaning, because sorceress people go into witches and enchantment and all this bunch of stuff. But that's the true meaning. She who which by her beauty and charm captures the attention of the people. And if you go through the painting, it goes from coffee beans and the animals with the birds, the turtles and everything, into the palm tree, the tobacco leaves that are green from the plant. You go into the sunset, you go into the aged leaves, then you go into the music, Our Lady of Charity, mamey, which is a native fruit, and you go into the cigar necklace. So there's a story within the painting as well.
And it matches your fingernails as well.
It matches my colorful.
You coordinated that just for the show,
Just
Grace.
for the show. So, it's just, I understand, but once you get past it and you say, let me give the cigar a shot, and you know the story behind it, then it's like, I'm a girl. I'm the one behind the brand.
Right. Now, did you market that towards women as well? Was that part of the design, or?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily,
I
right.
wanted everybody to smoke it.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. When you smoke the cigar, it's for everybody. Whether you're a full-body smoker who enjoys it with your coffee in the morning, or you're somebody who just likes a medium cigar, or flavor, then you can enjoy it at any point of the day. It's a cigar for everybody.
No, I think that was a really important point I wanted to convey to our listeners as well, that may have looked at the packaging and the shop and thought flavored cigar or something.
Yeah.
So having the story behind it, I think, is really important.
Yeah, and I understand their point of view, but you also have to put it into perspective. Who's the person behind the brand? And what are they bringing? It doesn't necessarily mean that every cigar I do in the future, when I do it, is going to be that colorful. But it's the first cigar. It brings attention to the packaging. They stand out. And I wanted to be known on this side of the industry. That's why the cigar is a medium cigar. It's not very strong. It's not very mild. Everything was done to bring people to the cigar and have an equal chance at reaching people, whatever your preferences are.
Well, I wanted to turn over to you to ask some questions about the blend and the sizes and the price points of the Hechicera.
Sure thing. So Grace, it's a from what I understand, it's a Nicaraguan Puro, correct?
Correct.
Is there anything else you could tell us about the tobaccos with that, or is that kind of confidential secrets?
It comes from a seed.
In Jalapa and Esteli.
Yeah.
I found that online.
It is. It does have tobacco from Jalapa and Esteli, but it is a Nicaraguan Puro, and it comes from a seed.
In Jalapa or Esteli?
Yeah.
What are the sizes it's available in right now?
There's a soft box press Corona, 5.5 by 44, a Robusto or a short Robusto, kind of like a Rothschild, 4.5 by 50, a 6 by 52, and a 6 by 60.
Okay. What's your favorite size of the four?
Well, I mean, and people will be like, well, of course you're going to say you like all the sizes, but every size was done for a specific reason because I smoked them all for a different purpose. I enjoy the Corona when I'm at home relaxing because when I'm out and about, I talk so much that it goes off on me every 5 minutes and I have to be relighting just because it's a small ring gauge and, you know, it goes off. So that is something that I enjoy smoking at home. I enjoy Lanceros, and that's something, you know, as much as people ask for Lanceros, they don't sell enough to make a full production. So, you know, maybe in the future we'll have a Lancero, but I don't know. Just a limited thing.
We'd buy them.
Yeah. But when you do a full production, that's actually the least selling size.
Yep.
And it's just
That's consistent across everyone we've interviewed, yeah.
So that's why I did the Corona, because I figured it would appeal to the Lancero smokers, and it's something that I enjoy smoking at home. The 4.5 by 50 I did because I like smoking in my car, and it's short enough for the ride. The ring gauge is perfect to hold the ash, so I'm not ashing all over my car, and it's just a nice quick smoke. So that's why I did that size. I did the 6 by 52 because I enjoy smoking it when I'm going to be at a shop for a while or doing an event, and it lasts long enough. It's not too big of a ring gauge. It's just enjoyable. And the 60, I did it not so much for myself, but I did it for those who like the bigger ring gauge. I'll smoke it. I enjoy it. It's just a bit uncomfortable when you're smoking one after the other.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about that on the show a lot.
Yeah. So each size and anything bigger, you know, it's not my market. That's the Asylum market, so I wouldn't go bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's why each size, there's a purpose for each size. So when people ask me, what's your favorite size? I'm like, I enjoy them all. They each have a purpose, and they each were strategically done.
How would you describe the flavor profile?
It's medium, straight through. We blended it. Christian blended it, and he did it to what I wanted the cigar to be. So I wanted a cigar that was creamy, but had its spices and peppery notes throughout the cigar. And I think that's exactly what it is. We went to, you know, I told him a few days before what I wanted. We went to IPCPR, and as soon as we got back from the IPCPR, we headed to Nicaragua. And he had a few cigars blended already for me. The tobacco was aged, because that's another thing. People are like, well, how do you bring out a cigar in such a short time? And you know, she must have been working on it before she left my father, and I get all these things, and I'm like, it's aged tobacco.
Yeah, yeah.
It's properly aged. You know, he has access to a lot of tobacco, and it's properly aged tobacco. It's just, it was rolled, and it sat for 3 months, and then we released it in mid-October. But we sat there. He had rolled 4 or 5 different cigars. I picked out 2 that I liked. Then we went back, and he, you know, kind of meshed those together, and I picked the final blend of the cigar. But we worked on it together. That's fine. And, you know, he's the master blender. I just knew what I wanted, and that's what I chose.
Yeah, Grace, there's 2 comments I want to make on it. Actually, one thing I'll say, you know, I love the flavor profile of that cigar. There's nothing young about that cigar. I mean, so when I smoked it when it came out, I mean, it's been good. It's been consistent like that. I haven't felt any youngness. The other thing I got to give you guys props for is the construction has just been phenomenal on that cigar. It is consistent. I don't have burn or draw issues at all with that. So really hats off to that. It was a great job with that.
So I don't have burn or draw construction issues with them.
And if he's saying that,
and if I'm saying that, that's saying something, because if you listen to the last episode, there was a very large cigar manufacturer in the Dominican that's known to have good construction, and I think I got the one cigar that had bad construction out of the entire run.
Well, hey, you know, they
so
are handmade.
if you want to send them to me, I'll find the ones that have
You'll
bad.
find
I'll
the
find the one in your whole lot.
You will.
You know, it's a handmade product. There always can be,
Absolutely.
you know,
yeah.
There could be a draw issue on one cigar. There could, when you have multiple ones, and obviously there's an issue. But when there's the one, you know,
one. It's usually the one that I pick from the box.
Yes.
You just keep them away from Paul and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So you released in boxes of 10. Was that strategic marketing?
Well, I want like being the first, cigar that I do. Everything that was put into the cigar, the name, the packaging, everything was done strategically, so that it was an easy decision when you picked it up.
Yep.
Whether the price point, it's priced between $5.95 and $8.95. So it's something that anybody can pick up. It's not difficult to say, okay, well, let me spend $6, try the cigar, and go from there. Boxes of 10, if
Depending on where you are.
Well, yeah, you have to add tax and stuff like that.
Like my member price at Havana Cigar Club next door was $55 or $57 roughly for the box of 10 of the Corona size.
Right. So the box of 10, it's roughly $60, give or take, with taxes and or discounts that you might have, as a member or whatever. But if you like the cigar, today and age, people don't smoke the same thing every day. You have to be the old school smoker who enjoys, like Padrones or Fuente and things like that, and that's what you smoke.
Yep.
And I respect that. That's fine. But most new smokers and other people don't smoke the same thing every day, so you don't want to buy a box of 20. You don't want to buy a box of 25. Or spend, $200+ on a box that's going to sit there for a while you enjoy other cigars.
Right.
So 10 cigars, when you buy this one, which is the box press, is $60 roughly. Not too many cigars that are going to sit there for a long time. Not a lot of money just sitting in your humidor. So everything that went, medium, you can smoke it at any point. Whether, like I said, whether you want to enjoy it in the morning or at any point in the day. Everything that went into the box and to the design and to everything was to be a simple, easy choice. Not just for the consumer, but for the retailer to say, well, I can make room for this and put it on my shelf because it's not going to take too much space.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a great point. I love the boxes of 10. Yeah. Especially when space in my humidor is premium. Especially when Will sends me cigars all the time, too. So how did you know that when you smoked the cigar, that would end up being the final product? How did you know? Like, what was that moment like for you?
Well, we didn't have time to go back and forth, on 2 or 3 months of let's try different blends and different blends and different blends and different blends, because we just didn't. If we wanted to release in October, which was my goal, we had basically a couple days. So that's why he had gone before and had some blends waiting for me. And I just knew because it was pleasant. It just made me happy. My palate was just happy. And I knew that it was, I had coffee with me that day, and I had my favorite, and I know that I'm going to skip ahead to something you're going to ask me later.
No, go ahead. It's totally fine.
But my favorite things to drink are coffee and wine and things that are sweeter, and I enjoy chocolate, and that's why my intention was in blending the cigar was something that would, pair with these things. So I had coffee that day. I had chocolate with, and I took these things purposefully so that I could try my cigar and smoke these and, eat the chocolate, drink the coffee. And if it all went together, that was it. And that's how it happened.
Excellent. So after lunch, I think we should have coffee, your cigar, and some chocolate.
I'm jealous because fantastic. I can't smoke.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So.
Will, did you have more questions for Grace?
Yeah. So one thing when I look at now the CLE family of brands, I think of CLE, the CLE brand. I think of family. I think of Authentic Corojo. I think Asylum, big and bold, good value. Winwood, obviously the factory fresh. How would you position Sotolongo in that brand, and what's a differentiator from a brand perspective that Sotolongo Cigars is bringing?
Well, the most obvious, I guess, that there's a girl behind it. Christian set up the company, to give different people the opportunity to bring forth their ideas into the brands. And he really does allow us to do that. And he doesn't get, very much involved unless he really thinks it's a crazy idea that's not going to work. But for the most part, he really lets us fly with our own ideas. Like I said before, with the packaging and everything, there's a girl behind it. There's a different perspective. I'm not gonna, like I said, make a pink box that's gonna turn people off. I don't even like the color pink, but
Except when a guy wears a pink
Except
shirt.
except when the guy wears a pink shirt. I don't usually
At
wear a
home
lot
in
of
my
pink.
closet.
Yeah, at home in your closet. It was, yeah. But I just want to, I guess, bring forth the fact that I learned this on my own. I didn't come from a family of cigars. I didn't come from a family that smoked cigars, period. That I never wanted to bring a story like that because that would have not been me. And I try to be as authentic as possible with everybody because it's just my nature. Even in doing the cigar in Nicaragua, when I first came with Christian, he's like, oh, would you like Honduran or do you want Nicaraguan? And I said, well, what I know is Nicaragua. I would feel, like I'm lying to people if I start talking about my passion for Honduran cigars when that's not what is my background, and so I just want my brand to stand on its own, be known that you can learn this and you can feel the passion and do it. We have Christian with his family heritage. His family has been in tobacco since 1913 in Cuba. Tom is a huntsman. He's an American guy. He wanted a big cigar. He did it and it fit, and that's what we have. Like I said, Edgar is the Mexican gangster who's actually a teddy bear, and he has his tattoos and his photography, and that's where he stands. We have Robert Wright, who's a black gentleman, and I say this because that's also part of what he brings forth, that there aren't that many black, and I don't mean to offend anybody if I say black. I don't like saying African American because I don't think everybody's from Africa, so I personally don't like saying that, and that's just me. But we have this gentleman who's a black gentleman. He's a saxophone player. He's a musician. He has so much passion.
He'll be here in Rhode Island at an event for Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop on April 7th. I mean, is that April 7th, Will?
April 7th, a Monday.
Yeah, it's a Monday night, April 7th. And we're going to try and get there and cover that event as well.
Well, that's awesome. So Robert has this passion that he also learned in working in the industry. And he brings his music and his stuff to the industry and to his cigars and to his box. So we each have our own unique, experience that we want to bring forth to everybody else. And that's why the CLE, family is so special. And that's, where we
Great.
fall.
It's really good how you've done that, and the whole team has done that, because I've been very impressed. It was at IPCPR, it was a very unique setup. All you in the same booth, though. I just was very fascinated by the dynamics, and you all seem to work well together too.
Oh yeah,
You could see that.
We help each other out, and even when we do events, like Hechicera might be featured, but I bring our entire lineup outward because my cigar is medium. What if somebody doesn't want to smoke a medium cigar? We have a more strong cigar in our lineup, in our family. So we all speak about our brands. We all go out and enjoy each other's brands. So it's great to work with a group that just gets along, and we argue, like Christian and I argue almost every day, like brother and sister. But at the end of the day, it's just because we're both passionate about our ideas, and we bring them together at one point, and that's where we go, and that's how we are, even with our team. Our sales team, we're all equal. It's not like, Christian, and then there's these brand faces, and then we're all one equal team. We all work together. If one of our sales reps has an idea, we take it and we see what we can do with it.
Now, speaking of new ideas, are you working on any new blends or brands or line extensions that you want to talk about?
Well, we're in the position where we're making a decision whether or not we're going to do another cigar or do a line extension. That's where we're at right now because it's March and it's the perfect time to decide. I'm in the process of trying a couple cigars that we came together and thought about. Today I can't tell you for sure which one of the two. There will be something at the IPCPR. This hasn't been featured at the IPCPR because it debuted in October, and we didn't even have a design, a name, or anything when we went to the show because I had just been with the company for about a week. So this is going to be completely new.
Yeah, the original name was I Don't Know.
It was I Don't Know. It was I Don't Know. What's the name?
Yeah, we found out at the show you were actually coming out with the line. You were there, but we didn't know about the cigar until I think towards the end of the show is when it started trickling out.
Well, yeah, because I had only been with the company for about a week. And we kind of didn't want to start talking about it because we didn't know what it was.
Sure.
You know, I didn't know it was going to be boxes of 10. I didn't know it was going to be all Nicaraguan. I didn't know. So I didn't want to, you know, put information out there that was going to be false.
Now, have you talked about limited releases under the Hechicera brand, perhaps?
Well, what I was saying was I like Lancero. So, you know, maybe in the future we might do something small production in a Lancero because I enjoy that size. People enjoy that. But doing a full production of it, you know, is not, like, I guess, cost effective if you want to look at it that way. But that's not in the works right now. We are looking at maybe doing another cigar or doing a line extension. And that's something that we're deciding within the next week or so. And then I'll probably be heading down to Nicaragua with Christian to, you know, do that final blend or whatever, or size, whatever we decide to do, and, you know, introduce it at the show. There will be something, but the brand will be new to the IPCPR because that's never been featured.
Right. Outside of the CLA family of cigars, what cigars do you like to smoke?
I enjoy smoking other people's cigars, which is, you know, a lot of brand owners or, you know, cigar families and stuff like that, you know, won't say or won't admit or just won't smoke other people's stuff. I can't say that my cigar is a great cigar if I don't know what else is out there, aside from the fact that there are really great cigars out there. And, you know, I'm blessed to be friends with the Fuente family, and I smoke a lot of their stuff. The Toraño family. I enjoy a Padron every once in a while. But you know, I still enjoy my father every once in a while because I love it, you know.
You probably smoked a lot of those when you worked there, too.
I was there almost 3 years, and I enjoyed a lot of them multiple times during the day.
Right.
You know, so I do enjoy other people's stuff. I do try new things, and you know, and we're blessed that we have great cigars under our own umbrella. That, you know, whether I want to have a Honduran or I want to have a Nicaraguan or I want to have the factory fresh, that's, you know, we have a great variety. So not just my own, but the different stuff that we have under our company and, you know, the other cigars that are out there. I enjoy trying new things.
Excellent. Will, any last questions for Grace?
I think I'm good, Paul.
Okay. That concludes the interview. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And make sure you tune into the Stogie Geek Show every Thursday night. And Grace, I don't know if you want to give people your Twitter handle. I know you're very active on the social media, so
Twitter,
a website.
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, it's Grace Sotolongo. On Facebook, I'm under Grace M. Sotolongo and Sotolongo Cigars. And, you know, that's about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coop.